Lena and Michael had just finished moving into their new home, a modest two-story house tucked in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The kind of place where the grass was cut short, the driveways were spotless, and children's bicycles leaned against white picket fences. It should have felt safe. But as the couple sat on their porch that evening, sipping cheap champagne from mismatched mugs, Lena noticed movement in the yard next door. A man stood there just beyond the hedges, not waving, not smiling, just staring. Michael laughed it off, raising his glass in an awkward greeting. The man didn't respond. Instead, he slowly turned, walked back toward the neighboring house, and disappeared behind the fence. Lena muttered. Michael tried a joke. "Welcome to the neighborhood." The next morning, Lena caught sight of him again. This time, he wasn't alone. Another man, tall, thin, wearing a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes, was standing beside him. They both faced her kitchen window. Neither blinked. Lena closed the curtains. That night, as she and Michael prepared for bed, she thought she saw a shadow move across their yard. "Probably just a stray cat," Michael said, though his voice didn't sound convinced. The days passed, and the staring continued. Always from their yard, always silent. Sometimes one man, sometimes two. Once, Lena swore she saw three. Michael confronted them one Saturday afternoon. He stepped out, marched over to the fence, and raised his voice. "Hey, you got a problem with us?" The two men only stared. Not a word, not a single muscle moved on their faces. When Michael took another step forward, they turned, together, and walked back into their house. No answer, just silence. That night, the first trespassing happened. Lena was jolted awake by the sound of crunching gravel outside. Heart racing, she peered through the blinds. One of the men was standing in their driveway. No flashlight, no phone, just standing there. When Michael stormed outside, shouting, the man walked slowly toward the property line, then stopped, turned his head, and smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the kind of smile that said, "I know something you don't." The police came, but they were no help. "He didn't technically do anything illegal," the officer said with a shrug. "Just stay inside. Call us if it escalates." But it did escalate. 2 nights later, Lena woke to the unmistakable sound of their back door handle jiggling. She froze, clutching Michael's arm. The sound grew louder, more insistent. Someone was trying to open the door. Michael grabbed a bat and crept down the stairs. When he flipped on the porch light, the noise stopped. No one was there, but muddy footprints smeared the wooden deck. The next morning, Lena found something even worse. On the kitchen window, drawn into the condensation, were 4 words written by a fingertip. "We see you." The couple begged the police for help again. But with no security footage, no physical damage, there was nothing to report. "Probably just kids messing around," the officer said. But kids didn't stand outside your house at 3 a.m., smiling in silence. The breaking point came a week later. It was late, the neighborhood quiet. Michael was upstairs brushing his teeth when Lena felt the urge to check the living room window. And that's when she saw him, a man in a black mask, standing just feet away, staring directly through the glass. She screamed. Michael bolted downstairs, but by the time he got there, the masked man was gone. From that night forward, the harassment was relentless. Shadows moving across their lawn at odd hours. The sound of footsteps on the porch. Knocks on the windows. Always too quick to catch anyone outside. And the eyes. Always the eyes. Watching from behind the fence. Watching from the tree line. Watching from the driveway. Sleep became impossible. Every creak of the house, every brush of wind against the siding sent Lena spiraling into panic. Michael installed cameras, 4 of them covering every angle of the yard. But every morning, they woke to find the footage erased. Files corrupted, memory wiped, almost like someone knew how to disable them. Then came the night of the scratching. Lena woke to a faint, high-pitched sound, like nails dragging across glass. She turned her head toward the window. A hand, pale, thin, pressed against the glass, fingers tracing slowly up and down. She screamed, and the hand vanished. Michael ran outside, bat in hand, but again, nothing. No footprints, no sign of anyone. But Lena knew what she saw. The police stopped responding to their calls. "It's all in your heads," the last officer said, annoyed. Maybe you two need some rest. But rest was impossible, because now the men weren't just outside. They were inside. One evening, Lena went to grab her phone from the kitchen, but when she entered, she froze. The back door was open, just a crack, and on the floor, muddy boot prints, leading into the house. Her heart stopped. She screamed for Michael. Together, they searched the rooms, the closets, even under the bed. No one was there, but the footprints ended in their bedroom. That night, they locked every door, every window, pushed furniture against the entrances. And still, Lena woke at 2:47 a.m. to find the bedroom door standing wide open. In the hallway, she swore she heard breathing. Slow, steady. She shook Michael awake, but when he turned on the light, the hall was empty. They were trapped, isolated, abandoned. Neighbors avoided them now, whispering behind closed blinds. The men next door still appeared every day, standing outside, motionless. But no one else seemed to see. No one else seemed to care. The final night was the worst. Lena and Michael huddled together in the living room, weapons in hand. A bat, a kitchen knife, their phones ready to dial 911, even though they knew no one would come. At exactly midnight, the power went out. The house plunged into darkness. Then, the sound of the front door unlocking. Click, slow creak, footsteps on the hardwood. They weren't outside anymore. They were inside. Michael shouted into the dark, swinging the bat wildly. Lena clutched her knife, tears streaming down her face. And then, out of the blackness, came a voice. Low, whispering, close. We see you. The next morning, the house stood empty. The furniture overturned, the windows smashed. But no sign of Lena, no sign of Michael. The neighbors claimed they never heard a thing. The men next door? Gone, vanished. All that remained was a single phrase, scrawled across the living room wall in jagged letters. Welcome to the neighborhood. I